Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, we'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 12 of the anime series Shokugeki no Soma Sen no Sara Toutsuki Ressha-hen, the finale episode of the second half of season 3 of Shokugeki no Soma, respectively. And I really enjoyed this episode for the most part. It did leave me wanting to a point because we've effectively ended the season on a cliffhanger. You know, not like that's something the show hasn't done before. But this really just, the culmination of it was just the first round of this whole, you know, Rebels versus Central versus Azami thing. And even though our Rebel characters took the win, which was like, yeah, you know, well, that's just the first round. And how long are we going to have to wait for a season 4 now? You know, that kind of thing. So that was a little disappointing to me. They completely just bowled over the third part of this, you know, first round too. Whoever the opponents were, the Rebel won on that, you know, side as well. And like it was a thorough win all across the board for our Rebels in this first round, all 3 of the matchups within it. But much as I assumed, you know, there wasn't really room enough to delve into that third aspect of this first round for our Rebels. You know, just the fact that they took the win was good enough. And the entire episode was mostly going through the motions of once again primping up Nene and her soba dish and explaining all that. I think I've, you know, been bombarded with more information about soba and soba noodles and the production manufacture of them in this singular episode than I ever wanted to know in my entire life. You know, but you know, building up her prowess and everything like that, and I was like sort of on the edge of my seat when the WGO judges were like eating it, and then they would look down and be like, "Whoa, where'd our noodles go?" Like they were so wrapped up in the flavor of it, they were enraptured by it, so they, you know, started to have these brain farts like, oh, I finished it, I didn't even realize, you know. One of the guys says something like, it's like being in a time machine, and I love the reference to the girl who leapt through time, you know, the soba who leapt through time. That made me crack up. There was also like a similar sort of festival based reference during, you know, Soma's deliberation, the deliberation surrounding his soba dish. And I don't know what that was a reference to. If anyone who watches this video knows, let me know that in the comments below. I caught the girl who leapt through time reference, but I didn't catch the festival reference. If that, in fact, even was a reference to some other anime film or series or something. But much as I assumed, Soma took the win, and but not before they almost sort of threw me for a loop, because there's a point when they're about to announce the winner, and the female judge calls out Nene's name and then makes her sample her own dish so she can get a sense of its failings and everything. But before she actually, you know, tells her to sample her dish, I was like, oh, crap. Does that mean Central wins this round? She beat Soma? And they drag it out just a little bit, and I was like, all of a sudden, goosebumps. I was like, oh, crap. This didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. But then, of course, the other leg drops, and no, it's taste your dish, see what was wrong with it, how the temperature of the arena impacted the noodles and everything, and how it lessened the vibrancy of it, and the aroma and the natural flavors, as well as the ones that she mixed into her particular, you know, concoction. And so, sure enough, once again, Soma wins because of his just spending so much of his life in a mom-and-pop diner, you know, having to work on the fly and answer to the whims and the wants of so many different customers every single day. Having that embedded in him, it's really, he is the true underdog character. You know, for all of the pomp and circumstances, for all of the highbrow culinary prowess that, you know, people like the Elite 10 and Nene command, there's still something to be said for somebody who's actually out there in the working environment, in a restaurant, who has to keep up with the wants of those customers every day, you know, every few minutes of every day for hours on end. And all of that time has, you know, accumulated to make Soma just have this renowned expertise that nobody expects of him, because they all look down on him and they all belittle him, and it's such a great sort of commentary on you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, because you never know what you're going to expect once you open it, you know. And that is Soma in a nutshell. You know, he is such an admirable and aspiring character to want to be like, to want to live your life like, especially how often he has lost and yet picked himself right back up with an ear-to-ear grin and gotten that much more excited about the lesson he just learned and how he can apply that the next time. And so, yeah, we leave everything off with Joichiro saying, you know, well, it was a win for the rebels, and Azami's leaving biting his thumb and, you know, or fingernail or whatever it is, and he's all ticked off. And of course, Tsukasa is saying to Soma, well, let's go head to head next time. You're going to have to do something a little better than what you did against Nene in this first estimation of this round. And I have to wonder if, like, the next season, whatever it's going to be, if we get like 12 more episodes or something like that, unless they do like an OVA or something, how long they've stretched out the second or third or however many rounds this Shokugeki against Central is meant to go for the rebels. I don't know. Can they stretch that out to 12 episodes? Is it going to have to be shorter? Is it going to be like 2-3 episodes, you know, surrounding that, and then we move on to the next arc, whatever that might be? Of course, my not being familiar with the source material, I have no idea what to expect, or any speculations I can raise to, you know, cover any of it. But yeah, for what it was, I enjoyed the hell out of this second half of season 3. I love Shokugeki no Soma to pieces. I love Soma to pieces. I love that there was a little bit of tsundere, you know, but yet bowing to Soma on Erina's part in the end. She was trying to compliment him, and he's off in the John, you know. So typical as ever, but I loved every dripping minute of it. And so yeah, until eventually we find out if season 4 is coming, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.